we're talking about wealth, but before that, let me zoom out and ask you a basic question. What does wealth mean to you? And I ask you that because at different point of times, wealth means different things, right? At some point of time, it's only about comfort living. It grows to, let's say, some materialistic aspirations and perhaps making a difference to the society by the end of it. How's been your and your family's relationship with wealth, and how do you make sure that the wealth management stays agile and nimble enough to make sure it's reaching up to the changing needs?
Yeah, so I think wealth is evolving, right? And it's something, of course, the topic that we are talking about and my fellow panelists who come in are better placed because they are practitioners. I'm just a consumer, right, of wealth management. But, you know, the wealth is evolving. I remember the times growing up, we used to only hear gold, real estate, fixed deposits. Today, I don't hear any of those. Yeah. Today, I hear crypto, tech companies, NFTs, equities, FNOs. So it's really, really evolving. But the underlying commonality, which we all should not forget, is preservation. Yeah. Right? At that time, we thought that gold as an asset class or fixed deposit as asset class was actually the best asset class to preserve. Today, we want to use more interactive asset classes. And including me, the next or third generation entrepreneur, we like asset classes like art. We like asset classes like wine. We interact with it. So we buy stuff as an asset class to preserve wealth, but not only to keep it in a bank, but to see it, to live it, to interact. Having said that, there's a fine line between interaction and burning, right? Because sometimes people get confused and they say, yaar, ye to asset class acha hai. This is a good asset class, but they don't realize that they're just consuming rather than preservation. So for us, for me personally and for the family, of course, all our wealth is in building institutions. Over the last 70 years, when my grandfather started the business, we've been building this institution. We have, which is the Hero brand, Hero Group. We have not sold a single business because we are not a private equity investor. We are creating a legacy for future and really giving upward mobility to India. And as a Munjal family member, if I wear that hat, all of us are just focused on that, and that's creating wealth for us. While investing is something we do as personal for having fun and doing some interactive stuff, but for us, wealth is really building an institution that we can be really proud of in coming years. Okay.
So wealth creation, preservation, and not really depletion. That's what you need to watch out for. Yeah, the burning of the wealth or cash. But you know, that gets me to the next question. A lot of families struggle when it comes to the emotional aspect of succession planning. And what I mean by that is, in a family, you have different people with different aspirations, different, expectation of return, risk, and all of that. And you have, of course, an older generation, which is more into traditional assets and preservation, as you talked about, and a bit more aggressive stance that you see with a lot of the young peers. How do you bridge the gap?
It's a very relevant question. It's very important. You know, I have this phrase that I talk about with my team and family. To grow, you have to let go, right? I mean, you have to empower to grow. So I think it's extremely important to set aside some risk capital, right? And let your multi-generational families, the new generations, follow their passion, right? Let them follow the passion to say, hey, work is passion, and okay, if you like collecting art, or if you like playing video games and want to invest in video games, go ahead and do it, right? Because you can't force people to just come into a business because generations have been doing it. In our family, we give that independence. We give that independence where, which helps us not to step on each other's toes, right? We are a very large family, and I started Hero FinCorp, which is a financing arm, by myself, and I have no one in the family involved. I have them as my family board. I can go talk to once in 3-4 months. I get the access to brand, I get access to capital. But they just threw me in the deep. Go swim, learn, right? And that's how we do. And if you notice in our family, you will not see two family members in any of the same business.
Same business. Makes
So
sense.
it really helps from, getting rid of these egos or competition, because it's ought to happen. So my advice, at least being a practitioner, would be let the new generation follow their dreams, follow their passion. Don't force them, and try and separate as much as you can. Because if you have everyone together, it's a cliche saying that too many cooks spoil the broth, and that's ought to happen.